All right, hello everybody. Hello, we're back. We're back. We're here. All they have to do is press F5. Yeah, I think unfortunately we're gonna have to not use Kritsloff's face cam, not for the rest of the weekend or maybe ever. I think the aspect ratio and the size of it and stuff, I think it's just stressing OBS or something. I don't know. We weren't crashing, and then we started using this face cam, and now we're crashing. And this is going to be a nightmare for Wooden Potatoes too, because all these different streams are going to be overlapping. It's just going to be a pain in the ass. So I'm really sorry, Kritsloff. I hope you enjoyed your moment in the sun there, and I really do love the camera. But I think if it's causing us to crash as much as it is, I mean, it really does hurt the streams. When a crash happens, people realize, oh, I wasn't actually enjoying myself, and they leave. And we don't want that. We want to trick people into thinking they've been enjoying themselves the whole time. So I'm just gonna quickly nip back to Ifrix's here for the remainder of the stream. Like, look at the scale of that, right, compared to the old ones. Even Ifrix's is a weird fucking aspect ratio. I think the difference is we didn't scroll it before. The thing is, Ifrix, you did a good one before that was correctly done. I don't know what's wrong with people. Maybe it's just second nature to me now to get 16:9 right. Anyway, so we'll do that. I think that I'm gonna guess it could be Kritsloff. If we crash again, then I apologize and I take it all back, and it's not Kritsloff's fault. But I wasn't really enjoying myself. High opinion of your own content, AA. Oh, of course, the highest. It's just good old-fashioned British self-deprecation. By the way, have you guys noticed that I finally sorted my YOLO mouse out now for my main cursor? I'd broken it for a little while, but it's actually now working now. Alright, I can make it bigger. Look at that nice big juicy cursor right there. The largest YOLO mouse that we can have. I mean, in a lot of ways I don't like it at that size, but still. Grumpy Spud returns. I'm not being grumpy. I've not been grumpy. I've been grumpy about tea. But I mean, we can handle that, surely. Camera causes crashes. Isn't it a different file? No, it's just the scene itself can have too much going on. If you load too many sources and high, you know, high resolution and high frame rate and you know, just big chunky sources, and if you load too much media into a scene, it puts added stress onto OBS, and ultimately it might collapse. That's all, and that can cause a lot of crashes. So it could just be stressing it a little bit too much because it's too high. And that is a massive cam as far as I remember. And not only that, but it's a massive cam, but we're also post-processing it afterwards by stretching it out so that it will fill the box properly because he didn't do 16:9. So all these things together could be causing the crashes. It's just a theory at the moment, but we'll see. All right, finally, we got that done. Moving on. Not you, the Spud. Wait, what? August 21st is the full eclipse here in the US. I live in Casper, Wyoming, which is directly in the center of the path. You're using the... well, okay, why are you telling me that? Are you going to do a potato cam during the eclipse? That would be amazing. Are you using the G600 right now? Yes, it feels nice. At first, I didn't really like it too much because it felt kind of alien and big and clunky, and it was weird to get my thumb and the muscle memory and stuff like that. But, you know, I was a bit put off by it. But I told myself every second of the way, I was like, look... I remember what it was like when I first got my Naga all those years ago. And my Naga felt big and clunky and weird and odd to use. And the Naga used to get sold. I don't know whether it still does. But the Naga used to get sold with these little, like, plastic tabs, sticky tab things. And you'd stick it onto specific buttons, like in a cross shape maybe, or a square or something, to help you identify what button you were going to press without looking. Like, there was that much training necessary. There was that much of a training wheels kind of thing to it. So every second that I didn't feel very comfortable with the G600, I just reminded myself of that the Naga used to feel a bit alien. It had just been a lot of years of using Nagas, and I didn't remember, you know, it wasn't clear in my mind anymore. And I got to say, within 48 hours, I'm totally used to the G600. The G600 has an extra button, which I think everyone loves, which is, you know, a lot of big wider mice have a rest for your ring finger. The G600 has that as well, but it's also a button, so your ring finger can click a button in, and that functions as a shift and a modifier key. So if you go really big dick on it, you can really do some impressive stuff. That I find myself accidentally pressing a lot at the moment still, so my dexterity still needs to go up a bit. But aside from all of that, it's good, it's sturdy. What I really want to see from it is that it doesn't break, and I'm not going to be able to know that for 2-3 years. The software on it is hopefully... So the other thing that annoyed me about Razer was Synapse, which is the software you run with it if you want to, you know, bind and stuff. That thing updates like once a week, and it's never a meaningful update. It's always just, oh, we made a change in the language pack for Russia. We made a change in the language pack for Chinese. And then they always just put the generic fixed bugs, and it's bullshit. It's complete shite. They're not making meaningful changes to the software at all. All they're doing is pushing their brand by having Razer Synapse pop up for you about once a week and make your PC go ding ding, updates are ready, and forcing you to look at the Razer Synapse little thing every time just to push the Razer brand. That's all they do it for. It's manipulative, it's corporate, it's sleazy, it's fucking disgusting, and it really pisses me off that Synapse did that. So the G600 has different software, and hopefully Logitech aren't wankers like that, and hopefully that thing won't update 1 billion times a year, and that will also be a big plus in my book for the mouse, but that also remains to be seen. So yeah, I like it, and so far I would recommend it, but the real reasons why I made the swap won't become evident to me for a while. There you go. That was a good mouse review right there. That was a quality review, all right? Speaking of Synapse, that shit just popped up right now. Did it really? I mean, it's especially annoying for me because I can't tell you how many videos I've been recording or whatever. And ding ding appears, which I then have to later edit out, and it always stresses me out slightly. It's not a big problem, but it always stresses me out of it. It's like, fuck's sake. Do you have to do that? And I think the G600 has a thing as well where you can save the settings into the hardware, which some older versions of Naga's had, but my recent 2015 one or whatever it was didn't have. I think that was how it worked anyway. Oh, look, it's my favorite place, guys. Steel Ice Span. Oh, and we have a flamethrower. This is actually a heart that gives you a flamethrower to kill stuff in the tunnels. Alien 2 style. My Logitech seldom, if ever, updates. Interesting. You don't think it updates very often because you're 602. So what's the difference between the 600 and the 602? Because I never really looked too much in the end. You have the Logitech G910 keyboard. Have used it for about 1.5 years, and I've not had the software bug me like Razer does. Well, good. See, and the reason I say this quite loudly, I mean, I'm a Guild Wars 2 streamer. You don't actually care about my opinion on mice and stuff. But I do want to say it because I think that companies that employ good practices like that, like Logitech, that don't take the easy route out and don't do sleazy stuff like that, they don't get the credit they deserve quite often when they really should. So I will voice the credit that they need, right? Because it's stuff like that that's very unspoken, but it is an asset to them, and they do. It is commendable. It's commendable to not be a dick, basically. The ugliest thing about this whole conversation is, of course, by mentioning all of this, I'm pushing Razer's brand more. If you're a believer in all press is good press, certainly at least, whether it's negative or not. The 602 has slightly fewer buttons on the thumb side. That's cool. We're moving into a Shadowrun world now. Megacorps rule. What are the Megacorps? Google, Amazon. What are some other Megacorps? I should buy shares in these places. Apple? I don't know about Apple. Microsoft, definitely. I'm not saying Apple isn't huge. I'm not saying it isn't, you know, a mammoth. But I also think that Apple is a little bit more on the flimsy side than some of these other, you know, absolute giants we just mentioned. I mean, compared to 99.999% of all other companies, of course, it would be perfectly fair. Facebook? Disney? In terms of media and entertainment, maybe, yeah, Disney. Man, I've been thinking a lot about Disney movies and things recently as well, because I've been listening to a lot of the Moana soundtrack. I gotta say, that scene at the end, if you guys still haven't seen Moana, if you guys want to see what is, in my opinion, like, and almost everything can be improved somehow. Like, everything can be improved somehow. But if you want to see, in terms of, like, in cinema, if you want to see an essentially unimprovable scene, you really want to watch Moana. You want to watch the climax of that movie with the battle against, with the finale against Te Fiti. I mean, it's really, 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 really incredible. There are only a few scenes like that I would list as high as that. Like the other one I was thinking about recently as well is Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs. I won't spoil it necessarily, but the scene with the gasoline and the ear and the police officer. I mean, that is an almost unimprovable scene. Like, that is specifically in terms of diegesis, that is a masterclass in cinema. I mean, that is incredible. I was thinking a lot about it, but Disney comes up all the time. I was thinking about, like, some of the best movies I've ever seen and why. I've realized I've got a lot of very mainstream tastes in a lot of things. I could do a good list, a good top 10. Yeah, Pulp Fiction's great, and I like a lot of Tarantino's work, but I wouldn't put Pulp Fiction as high as some of his other stuff. Just like a lot of people obsess over, like, Inception is a great movie as well, obviously, but a lot of people obsess over, like, Inception when it comes to Nolan or Batman and stuff. But I think I'm a bit of a, it's not me trying to be a hipster or whatever, but I think I'm a much bigger fan of The Prestige rather than any of his other stuff. And it's a bit similar to Tarantino there, really, in that the earlier work is actually something I think I've come to enjoy a lot more. Welcome to the 90% WP. Oh, it's good. It's good. It's nice. I mean, the only problem is I can't be on a high horse when I'm among the people. When I'm amongst the unwashed masses. Oh, God. Can we kill some branded? Map completion on this map has been really wonky. Yeah, The Prestige is an incredible film. You guys should watch that. But, you know, like, I have a huge amount of respect for Titanic. James Cameron's Titanic. I really do. I think if you guys haven't watched it because you think, oh, it's just lovely, that's an incredible movie. It's a brilliant mix of, yes, there's some romance in it, but it's probably the best, like, period piece. I think it's so, so, so good. It's an excellent action movie. It's galling. It's brilliant. A really incredible movie. I think deservedly one of the highest grossing movies of all time for many, many, many years it was as well. You know, like, things like that. Like, I'm really passionate. It's a boring thing to be passionate about. Oh, Titanic's a great movie. But I really do think it is. It's an incredible movie. I think it deserves the success it got. It's a fucking dumbass, boring, long drivel. I think that's so stupid to say. It's so ridiculous. You're the kind of person I imagine just, like, watches drivel. Like, if that's really what you think, I imagine you're entertained by, like, an action movie that's just, you know, you're like, you'd rather watch The Fast and Furious or something. Do you know what I mean? Just some dumb, and sometimes that's fine, right? You know, like, I'd also put, like, Sharknado at least quite high on a list of, like, what's one of the best dumb, turn off your brain, eat some pizza and have a couple of beers movie. Sharknado is probably quite high up there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I understand the place for movies like that, but if you want to actually enjoy cinema, if you want to look at characters, if you want to look at history as well, I think that, and it ends so, it's so epic. It's got great, I mean, the effects stand up really well. I mean, all the sinking shit. It's an action movie. Explosions and sparks and dread, and it's brilliant. It's a great movie. And it's excellently balanced by interesting characters and a really, really cool period of time. I think it's a brilliant movie. Ask a question. In the last Q&A, you were talking about phasing of maps, for example, or how it'd be cleansed and we'd be able to play a new map. Don't you think the idea would be okay if we could play the old version of this map even after changes? For example, in WoW, there's an NPC on the map, a bronze dragon of the time, that can transfer you to the old version. What do you think about it? Yeah, about an hour ago, someone asked me something almost identical, and when I answered, I said, I get asked this all the time. I get asked that all the time. Yeah, I think it'd be okay. I think it'll be okay. People are idiots. I didn't say that. Your tastes are perfectly valid if you're interested in surface deep level nonsense. It's not, Titanic isn't even necessarily a deep movie, but if you can't afford to engage your brain through dialogue for the first hour or so, and just because it's dialogue heavy for about an hour, that therefore to you means boring, I think that's really, really foolish. How is Titanic cliched and, oh my god. That one won't. Titanic is not that shallow. It's not that shallow. Not if you're not if you look at all the parallels they have between the actual real world events and stuff. Like there was an actual, for example, there was a genuine guy who survived the Titanic in the real world, survived it, and he claimed to be on the nose of the ship as it hit the water, and he was drinking some whiskey as he did so, and he was one of the very few people who survived in the water. And the movie actually has the attention to detail to just have randomly in a scene at that moment in the movie, you see that guy there. Like, there's a lot of callbacks to real-world events. I'm not saying it's the best movie of all time, obviously. Interstellar's a great movie, but it ends really shit, and they fucked it up at the end. Because Titanic isn't just a love story. If you think it's just a love story, you've clearly only got a very shallow understanding of what the movie is. Watch the movie. It's like, I get this kind of impression of like these middle-aged men back when it came out who, oh, I have to be a manly man. Men should watch men's movies. And I don't want to see anything where people kiss in a movie. I want to see guns and shooting and explosions. These are the only interesting things for me to watch. It's bullshit. There's plenty of action in that movie. Plenty. Arbitrary taste definition based on insecurity of your masculinity. And I've seen so many people who fall into that. Oh, this scene is sad. Oh, this scene's gay because it's sad and it's trying to make me cry. This is now bad. Not saying that Rod in chat is like that or anyone who agrees, but there's definitely a lot of that out there. Definitely. It's unfortunate. What are some of the best chick flicks I've ever seen? Okay, you got me. I don't think I've ever enjoyed a chick flick. Oh no! Does About a Boy with Hugh Grant count as a chick flick? Does Notting Hill as well, Hugh Grant as well, count as a chick flick? Those are okay movies. There you go. We'll go with those. I only think that old people think that way these days. Yeah, when I think of someone with that opinion, I do tend to think like 40 plus. And I also tend to think British. I tend to think British 40 plus, bit overweight, probably bald. And is you know, potentially a labourer of some sort, or that. Yeah, that's my impression of people with that opinion. Or alternatively, like 14-year-old boys, because that's what all my mates used to be like. So scared to show or embrace any emotion in any kind of media, that anything that tried to prompt that out of you, to admit that a movie had affected you and made you sad in some way, was a gay movie. That's gay. That's stupid. You're gay for enjoying that. Just dumb stuff. So yeah, I think that's what it is. It's like either 14-year-old boys or men that somehow made it to adulthood who still felt that way about things. It's like people who go into horror movies as well, and they're so scared of being scared. They're so genuinely insecure that they might be frightened that they have to joke about it all the time. Do you know what I mean? And on the other side as well, you get like very sort of stuffy, inward people who can't handle watching sex on film, right? Or any kind of nudity. And they'll just ruin the entire experience for themselves. They have to laugh at it, or they have to randomly strike up a conversation with you just because some woman's nipple's out, or you can see a dude's ball sack from between his legs looking behind, right? Oh, I have to talk now. It's like, relax. How can I respect a movie that has that kind of bad guy, that kind of ending, that kind of length, that kind of narrative? I mean, it's definitely not a movie for every circumstance. I would say that. But for what it is and what it aims to do, I think it's a brilliant movie. I can't watch gore because of my hyperactive empathy. It hurts to see that. Yeah, I've always struggled a bit with gore. I've also not... I get a bit high horsey with gore as well because gore... I think a lot of cinema doesn't know how to use gore properly. Gore is like a thing that you really have to very strictly limit in terms of quantity. You have to be very, very, very careful with it. Like, if you have a movie with no blood at all, and then you suddenly, like, and then you have, like, one exceptionally gory scene, right? So people aren't... Because people very quickly acclimate. They very quickly desensitize themselves to your gore. And gore for the sake of gore, once you're acclimated to it. I'm not quite sure what's fun about that. But there's a lot of movies that go into that too much. I'm not sure what actually people get out of that. Oh, blood! Intestines! Like, that I don't really get the point of. But, like, if you use it really well, I think it can add a lot. And then on the other hand, again, to stop myself looking like too much of a snob, I watched John Wick 2, last week? Did I talk about this on stream? Fucking brilliant movie. Brilliant movie. And that's a shallow, silly movie, but it slightly hints at, like, this deeper... brilliant movie. John Wick 1 and 2, great movies. Really, if you want a random, like, action movie to just turn off your brain and have fun with, there is no better choice than the John Wick movies. John Wick is fucking great. Really great. Look at all these recommendations. I was really upset, actually, with some of the reception to John Wick, because I think a lot of people missed the point of the film, like, really majorly. So, like, here's a thing of John Wick, right? I'm just gonna... So, you guys might think, oh, I'm gonna be bored by this, but you're not, trust me, because even if you haven't watched it, I'm just gonna explain something, right? So, one of the really interesting things that John Wick 2 specifically does, and John Wick 1 did it to an extent, right, is you're just following this guy, and there's no spoilers here, really, right? But this guy's fighting a lot of people, and they're very gratuitous, very violent, lots of action all the time, constantly, right? Like, that's the thing about the movie. And so there's all these really epic fight scenes, right? And sometimes they happen in private places where no one would see them. But as the movie progresses, they slowly get into more public places, like people getting shot, people on the verge of death, horrific struggles of life and death right out in the public eye, out in city parks, on subway tubes, in all kinds of places, right? And so throughout the movie, as these fights get a little bit more public, you start wondering, it will happen eventually, you're like, hold on, what the fuck? This fight, all these guns are being fired, all this stuff's going on, out in a public park, and look in the background, these pedestrians, these randoms, these just normal people who live in the city, they don't even care. They're not even looking. They're not even fazed. And when you first see that, you think, oh, this is such a bad movie. Or a bad part of the movie, right? And you might think, oh, that's okay, because that's the joke, right? That's the point. It's a bad movie. It's to have fun with it, and, you know, people don't care, right? And you'll think, oh, man, they could have at least had the pedestrians notice that this fight's going on or something, instead of just going on about their business. And then a little bit later into the movie, it will be a slightly more public place, and there'll be even more pedestrians around. And none of them are noticing either. And you're like, this is really bad. And then later it gets even worse. And eventually, while you're watching the movie, you will have that beautiful moment. I love this moment, whether it's a book, whether it's a game, whatever. The moment where you realize they know you know. The moment where you realize it's intentional. And because you go to a certain point in John Wick where you're like, oh shit, they know that it's absurd, nobody's noticing any of this stuff. And they're just playing into it. Subtly in the background, they know that you're criticizing their movie for none of the pedestrians noticing, and they're embracing it. They know you know. And I love that moment when that happens in John Wick, because then they just play in it. There's like there's like scenes where like someone's been dying and someone's been stabbed, and they're like staggering through like a subway station. And all these people in the subway are just standing around like completely unfazed, not looking in any direction. And it's so cool because the way that the movie sets itself up in terms of like a world building exercise is eventually it gets so blatant, and it's such a big part of the movie that you start thinking, oh, this... And there's other stuff that goes on in the movie that makes you realize this isn't really Earth we're on. This is like some alternate reality Earth thing where everyone's an assassin or something, right? Like... And you start wondering, like, what is the setting of this movie? Because this is clearly different. This is clearly weird, and they're playing with it, and they know it's different. They know it's weird. So what is the backstory? And you start sincerely thinking about and critiquing. So what starts as like this very small little random seed of just, oh, this is a shit movie, they embrace to such a degree that it's this really awesome part of the experience. And you're like, oh man, this is really interesting. Why does nobody care about these gunfights and stuff that are going on everywhere? And that happens at multiple layers continuously throughout John Wick 2, constantly. And it's amazing. It's what the movie thrives on. And then I go online and I see these fucking nerds going, oh, it was such a bad movie. Did you realise nobody notices when they're fighting in public places? 300 upvotes. Oh, get bent, you morons. You don't understand. It's so annoying. Alright, there you go. I called people idiots. Good movie, though. You should watch it. You should really watch it. WP, do you think they'll ever come a Guild Wars 3? Maybe one day. I don't know. I doubt they'd ever call it Guild Wars 3.
That was satisfying, but I have to get back on watch. The air has...
Good evening, Nosh. Good evening. We're actually about to wind down here. I just went on a huge rant. I'm sorry, guys. I wasn't even looking at chat. What's going on? Starship Troopers. See, I tried watching Starship Troopers. I just didn't. I didn't get into that. I thought that was. I don't know. Something about that didn't quite get that to me. I hate. See, listen to this Protoss Boss, right? Protoss Boss. I like you. You say a lot of smart things, but listen. Protoss Boss says, I hate John Wick 1 because of how cheaply they tried to make the audience hate the baddies. They have them kill a puppy just because, lol, look at him. They the bad guys. Look how bad they are. You don't understand the movie. That is the point of the film. To take a ridiculously arbitrary, silly little thing and blow it up to major proportions. That is the spirit of John Wick 1. The point is to embrace that and say, that's absurd, that's stupid, but wow, what a fallout. That is the point of the movie. It's not cheap, it's the entire purpose, right? If you missed that at that level, I would really, really, really implore you to either watch it again or maybe read some interviews about the creation of it and what they wanted to do with it and so on. That is the whole point of that experience. To take something that looks cheap like that, right? But it's not because that's what they... So yeah. Old Boy. Yeah, I watched Old Boy. I thought it was okay. It was pretty interesting. It was a big twist and it was very... it does make you think about the rules of society and boundaries, and it does leave you feeling a bit unclean, doesn't it? Old Boy was an interesting watch, definitely. I hear there's a remake as well, a Western remake. I've never seen that. I saw the original. What was it? Japanese? Is it Japanese? It's an Asian movie. There you go. There's me sounding racist. This question comes up a lot. People think Guild Wars 2 is dead. I actually, to be honest, I don't think that comes up that much. People don't really ask, is Guild Wars 2 dead? I think around 2013, 14 they did. But I think most people who ask it now are saying it ironically. I don't know. I get a lot of questions. I can read the room quite easily about what people care about with the game, right? Whether I agree with it or not, right? And that actually doesn't come up. Not to me, anyway. Maybe it comes up in private in other communities. I don't know. I think it's just a hard question to ask someone like me when, you know, we're clearly, you know, we get a lot of viewers for the scene anyway. And, you know, there's usually a plethora of contemporary videos that I've just put out. You know, I think maybe people would ask me, is Guild Wars dead, if I randomly went off the radar and stopped making videos about it and stuff. I think maybe that would be a thing. But it's kind of hard to ask that when you step into this kind of area. Do you think Guild Wars 2 is getting some backfire based on its age? The core game kind of pushes the game back. Well, yeah, I think the core game holds it back, but not because of its age, but because of bad design. I think MMOs of this age are more than capable of continuing to be successful, and more to the point, I think MMOs that have only ever released one expansion, and aside from that, outward looking in, there's not been much movement. Also, I think that's an asset, and also I think that that can help them an awful lot. I'm going to go back to the lake to kill the harpies, because I don't quite remember what we have to do in there to finish this this lake. Everyone's just an... Yeah, I mean, I think if someone's saying dead game, it's just more of a joke. People just think they're being funny, they're being witty. Oh, by the way, guys, so I was watching a little bit of YouTube Live. I was watching... I'm sure I shouldn't do this, or maybe not admit... Well, I'm sure I can admit it, because I'm pretty sure these channels are running on YouTube with absolutely no legal remit. But I was watching, just for a little while earlier today, live Futurama episodes. on YouTube. Christ, you know, what was it, last weekend? I did a stream where I was saying, oh man, you know, it's a shame that as Twitch streams get bigger, there's just more idiocy, basically, and less opportunity for real conversation and stuff, and it's just a real shame, and I don't know what that says about humanity and all this rambling and ranting and just terrible high-horsey stuff. That, you know, I went on that big rant. I'll tell you what, Twitch is about 1 billion times better than YouTube, at least. Christ almighty, what is it with YouTube? Have you guys seen what YouTube streams are like? There's a certain racial slur that a white man such as myself may not be able to say. Okay? We all know it. It appears about 100 times a second on YouTube. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. But apparently this is funny. It goes on and on and on and on. On Futurama streams. Not just Futurama streams. Lots of different YouTube streams. Mental. I don't know what's going on over there. I really don't. But good job, Twitch, for not being that bad. Yeah, you watched the 24/7 South Park stream and everyone was spamming swastikas. Like, it sounds funny at first, right? And then it's like 5 seconds go by and you're like, alright, we're done now. Sorry. Oh, I'm gonna come. This is a stream I'm gonna come away from and regret. I got too high horsey about various things. The Source 667. Thank you so much for the sub. Really means a lot to me, dude. Thank you very much. And X Nature Dead says speculation about the last episode release date. I don't know. I saw someone online saying that they think it might be on Tuesday. They announced. It was on the Spud Club earlier when I was in World vs. World. Someone said, oh, they might announce it on Tuesday coming up, which is way faster than I thought. I was expecting, like, not this Tuesday coming up or the one after, but the one after that. That's when I thought that the last episode was going to be announced. I think, but maybe very soon. I don't know. Maybe so. The release date. Again, I think maybe 3 to 4 weeks, 5 at a push. I think till the next episode and the finale. Because I mean, it's only natural to think they might want a little bit more time, isn't it? We're just gonna wait for another harpy or 2 to spawn here. I know this is a bit lame. After we do this heart, we'll probably give it a rest, guys. 77% on Blaze Ridge. We finished Fields of Ruin. We finished DR. Pretty good. That just leaves me to do Iron Marches, DSer. Oh god, there's so much. But I'll try and get Ascon done. Ugh. We just trade one set of Shadow Calls for another, really, on this series, don't we? Spirit Shard's done? Cool, now I'll do this. After this, though, what have we got? What shackles do we have after that? I don't know. I think after this, that's it. Really. I think it's just, hey, big spender. Maybe we should put some buy orders in. Hey, on tomorrow's stream, guys, we might put some buy orders in on some legendaries for in the future. We might go onto the other account and start saving money there, because I shouldn't buy them all outright. I don't think anyone ever minds my high horse rants. I don't know. Someone might, though. Someone might. I just don't think it's friendly. The tangents are pretty great. Yeah, Christ, I did not expect when I woke up today to rant about John Wick 2. Seriously, watch any of these movies I mentioned today. Best part about the stream, LMAO. Franco8989, thank you very much. That's awesome, dude. Thank you. I feel like my relationship with Twitch chat is like when you're in like an abusive relationship, you know? And, like you've got this friend at school who's a bully. Or they're like, you know, they're like an arsehole, or like they don't understand how the world works. And they want to constantly bunk off school and Skype and stuff. And they're always encouraging you to do it. And you're hanging out with them too much. And now you're sort of becoming an arsehole yourself. And they're like, no, it's cool. It's funny, mate. It's funny. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's funny. I feel like that's my relationship with Twitch chat. I get all this encouragement to be a dick. No, it's not me the bully. You guys are the bully. You guys are the bully. I'm never anything other than the holier than thou. Perfect, man. Oh my god, I'm getting a lot of subs though. Look at this support for the movie rants. Christ. I do want to say to Rod earlier, I hope that Rod's feeling alright and I wasn't too aggressive or whatever. I do, if he's still around, you're of course entitled to your opinion about James Cameron's Titanic from the 90s. Porty Poo. Frank 0. Oh, and we already did Frank. Why did I hear it go off 3 times though? Oh, well, anyway, Porty Poo. Porty Poo, thank you very much. New subs, does that mean new emotes? Yeah, I actually have a ton of emote slots. It's just Welk and I have to actually get off our asses. Well, I have to sit about and bug and beg Welk to do things for me because I'm too lazy, basically, is actually what's going on. But yeah, we do actually have a lot of emote slots. We want good ideas for emotes, though. Ones that people will really want to use. This is what you get for being a sub, getting called a bully. Yeah, because you're giving me this sub to, like, buy me off and make me act like a performing monkey. I don't, you know, it's bullying. It's classic abuser behavior. That's what that is. Do I have poutine? No, that's a Canadian thing. I've never eaten poutine as far as Canada's Canadian poutine's concerned. Oh god, and this is this awful heart, isn't it? But I have sort of essentially made my own on fat, craving, fueled, carb, desperate moments of weakness in my past. Where essentially what I've done is, and I'm talking like a few years ago now at this point. Especially good when you come home from a night out in town after being drunk, which I really haven't done for years now. But what you can do, guys, is you can get, you've probably got somewhere in your cupboards a big bowl, a big like clay white bowl, right? A big bowl. What you're gonna do is you're gonna get that bad boy out, and that is gonna get filled with food. So here's what you do: you put chips in the oven chips, or you can fry them. But you're probably drunk. I wouldn't use the fryer while you're drunk. I've had too many horror stories of people burning their houses down from that. So I would use the oven. Go chili chips if you can, right? Maybe a big bag from Iceland, something like that. Whole bag of chips, straight in. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna fry a couple of sausages, or do those in the oven as well. And you're gonna cut those sausages into like little slivers, right? Once they come out, so or little chunks, right? Then you're gonna get some what else would I used to do with this? I can't remember. There was onion rings. You're gonna get some onion rings in there. Definitely some onion rings in there. You're gonna get some onion rings going, and then once you've got, and maybe like one or two other, I can't remember, some other shit, right? Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna cover it all in baked beans, and then grated cheddar cheese on top, and you're gonna have this pile of just like unbelievable, like melty, beany, chippy, cheesy stuff. And then you're going to chow down into that bad boy at 4 a.m. So drunk you can't even taste it. That is a Friday night. It's good, isn't it? It's good. That's the WP special right there. And as far as I'm aware, that's a little bit similar to poutine. We can hand some items in on this as well, can't we? How dare you, Foraces, for calling my culinary genius disgusting. We call that chili cheese fries, WP. Yeah, but you're missing the beans, man. You're missing the beans. The beans make it, and the little bits of meat that you'll consume with it as well. The sausage. You can't be missing those bits. They're integral. Oh, there we go. That's that heart done. I said I was going to be done after the last heart, and then we started ranting about horrendously unhealthy, artery-clogging food. And now he's given me a girl a cooking lesson. Gonna call him Gordon Ramsay in the future. It's not really a lesson. It's just how to bung a ton of stuff together. I love the idea of watching a professional chef make and eat that. I love it. The beans are in the chili. Listen, the kind of beans you get in chili is nothing like baked beans. Good British Heinz baked bean. Whole tin of it dolloped on there. Mix it all up. Worst part about every WP stream is when he starts to speak about food, I have to go get something. Oh, you mean like the kebab discussions, or the pizza discussions, or whatever the fuck this is, the WP special. There you go. Well, whenever that's the thing is, we only ever talk about just like really unhealthy food. That's all we ever do. I don't know what impression I give people of myself. It's so ridiculous. It's probably because I always want to eat it, but I don't let myself. Ramsay might be the only British who can cook. I think he had a cool YouTube channel running for a while, actually. And he did some simple stuff on there as well. Yeah, the sausage. Sorry, sausage is how you say it. I'm just used to saying it in that stupid way. a burrito discussion recently? Did we have a burrito discussion? Have I ever had shawarma? Shawarma is an American word for essentially a doner kebab, isn't it? Or something like that? Isn't that what that is? And it's one of those things that I unfairly and completely unjustly get pissed off that people use a different word when we already have a perfectly appropriate one. And I feel like to Americans it's some exotic thing, but to most people in the UK it's like a totally standard, normal kind of fast food option. Yeah. Yes, I like kebab. Kebab is awesome. I get that your term is probably a bit better than ours, by the way, because a kebab really is also, you know, a skewered piece of meat stacked with, you know, whatever else, right? So ours is a little more confusing, but we call those kebabs here. Whenever I talk about kebabs, if you're an American, it's shawarma we're talking about. I don't know. I guess it's just that implication that it's somehow exotic or weird or special, and it's just not. It's like, it's grubby fast food stuff that's delicious. Don't get me wrong, but. Nope, it's completely different. Oh, okay. At least where I am, Germany, it's chicken with different sauces and different R bread. What's R bread? Rye bread, is that? Oh, I don't know then. I don't know. What is shawarma, guys? Is shawarma chicken? I mean, you can have a chicken kebab too, but really we're talking about, you know, a lamb doner. AUGT says, I thought doner kebabs are not the same as shawarma. Oh, well, there you go. So they're not. Like I said, I wasn't sure. I'm from the Mediterranean Sea. Our cuisine does not have a bad reputation. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Of course I'm talking about doner kebabs. I'm well aware of that. Shawarma, or shawarma, is a Levantine meat preparation. I don't know what Levantine... What's a Levantine? Levantine preparation where lamb, chicken, turkey, beef, veal, buffalo meat, which is dubious, discuss, or mixed meats are placed on a spit and may be grilled for as long as a day. But the thing is, a doner kebab is essentially just like lamb meat on a spit as well that they rotate. And they'll slice it off. Classically, they use like a scimitar, but they don't anymore. That's where you get doner meat from. And you'll have it in like a pita bread with salad. Look at WP using his platform to spread misinformation. What misinformation could I spread for economic gain? Let's discuss. Guys, the next expansion is going to have all these gold sinks, so you should invest in gold as much as possible right now. Here's some misinformation for you. So I heard, insider, by the way, guys, I'm breaking NDA by telling you this. I heard, right, that runes were going to have their stats stripped away from them, okay? They were going to have their stats stripped away. And so you should invest in Rune of the Thief, because it's going to be one of the strongest runes in the game when they do that. Because it's basically like permanent scholar for you, as long as you're behind or the side. So invest in these guys. 250 of them, at least. I would go much higher if I were you. Buy, 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 buy. They'll probably eventually reach a price of about 8 gold per, which is what Scholar has classically been. And when they reach that price, that's when you want to sell out. And then what I'll do is I'll invest a load early, and I'll sell when they're 7 gold a piece. Just wait until that actually happens and I get into trouble, WP. I wouldn't get into trouble because no one's told me that, so everyone knows it's bullshit. Levant is the region from South Turkey through Syria down to Israel. I'm calling it now. I love the idea that someone actually goes and spends 72 gold to get a stack of those. I think, by the way, if I cared a lot about TP and stuff, and I promise I don't have any investments in Runes of the Thief, but in all utmost sincerity, if I had a lot of cash to burn and I cared about investments and stuff, I would probably do that as like a hedge fund or whatever. I would do that. I would have a stack of those waiting to go, just one stack, just chill and waiting around, just in case a day does come that they strip stats away from runes. There's a good chance that if that patch ever did come, they'd probably rebalance the Rune of the Thief and several others to bring them in line and stuff. Because one clearly is more OP than the other in that situation. It's like Scholar plus a ton of Condi damage instead of Ferocity. But yeah, I would do that. I think that would be a sound investment. Little things like that. That's a perfect little hedge investment, I think. WP did leak the whole Balthazar is Lazarus. That's true. It's very true. It's not shame. Great shame on that. Identifying the fire in the trailer. And its suggestion. Alright, seriously, this stream's getting on too long. I'm gonna unfog this bit of the area. This, by the way, is some of the first places we ever saw it. No, I'm gonna end it here. This is beautiful, because this is some of the first footage when you made a new character in the 2010 demos, a Char character, it would spawn you here. This is the starting zone for Char in the 2010 demos. This is it. This is where the game began. Seriously. Very, very cool. And that is where today's stream is going to end. I do hope I haven't been too offensive. It has all been a bit tongue-in-cheek. I hope you guys have enjoyed various topics. Hope we talked enough about Guild Wars. Food, go eat if you guys are hungry now. And I will see you all tomorrow, same time, for whatever may come. And hopefully I've got a bit more map completion done in Ascalon. But I'm not very excited about doing it right now, so we'll see. But anyway, guys, Tyrannic says, I'm super offended as always. Thanks, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks so much for the subs. And I will see you tomorrow. Have a great evening, guys. And if you're out to a barbecue tonight as well, I hope you have fun with that. It's perfect barbecue and whatever. See you later, everybody.